Well, we've got ourselves a problem. It has rained a bunch. I didn't cover the motor and went to crank it, and it's hydrolocked. The whole crankcase is leaking out the back seal. It's leaking water. Now it won't even crank. All right, I got it to crank again. I think the rainwater was coming through these screw holes and just trickling down, so that was my fault for leaving it out in the rain. I doubt that seal will hold. It may have been leaking because of the pressure. Physically, like visually, looks good. Spring is still, it still looks tight, but it was leaking. Maybe one of y'all in the comments can tell me if it's supposed to let pressure out, because I don't think it is. The main thing I don't want is that I don't want it sucking air in, because that'll cause it to run lean. Okay, it's been a couple months since I've worked on this project. Been turkey hunting mostly. Kind of had to set it to the side, but we're getting back to work on it now. Got to do the steering, we got to do the bench seat and the decking. I fired it up a couple days ago. Motor runs good. I fire it up again. I went to the store and got 4 more bolts. They're a little bit on the long side, but they can just stick out the bottom there. I'm pretty sure this is how rainwater got into my motor. And when that happened, it tried to hydrolock, and it ended up blowing water out the rear seal. But the rear seal looks visibly good, so hopefully it doesn't suck in any air. I did get a new seal kit, just came in the mail today, in case we ever do need to replace that. But I'm gonna run it as is for now. We got the proper amount of screws here. Shouldn't have any water getting into the intake when it rains, but pretty soon here we'll have this all covered up anyway with the back deck. So basically, I gotta finish that board that I cut out, gotta paint it, get it installed so we can have this steering control bolted to it. All right, we got 4 coats on the top surface and at least that many, probably 5 or 6 on the edges. So everything's in there nice and thick. Okay, we got our piece of old road sign cut out for the steering, a couple pieces of angle. Angle's a little wider than the handlebar that we're gonna use for the stick steer. So we got some old HydroTurf, Amazon brand, knockoff HydroTurf for some padding. We gotta get a couple angle brackets here where it's gonna bolt through this square into the bench seat, and we're also gonna have a couple piece of aluminum angle right here for extra reinforcement. Okay, we got the bracket done almost. We still have to drill a hole for the handlebar, but we're gonna figure out exactly where to do that. Probably just down here somewhere. Got a couple holes drilled here. These are gonna bolt in about here. Okay, we got this bolt in here. I had to go to the store and buy a couple bolts and things. We got that. This is how I did my last jet boat. It's the only way I could, or the best way I could find to attach this little ball joint here for the steering linkage, and it worked well on the first boat, so we're doing the same thing on this one. Got a hole drilled here so we can attach it in to here. Got a hole drilled there. Got some new bolts, nylon lock nuts. Okay, we got our stainless bolts up here. Fender washers on the back. Pretty solid. You can see the bench seat's got some wobble to it, but we're gonna bolt down that plywood. That'll hold everything together. Just gonna take this brand new 3/16 bit, drill out a couple rivet holes here on both sides. Yeah, we'll just have it in reverse right now. And we will get that riveted in just for reinforcement. All right, we got her riveted up. So everything's bolted up here. I had to move this bolt hole up here because I didn't measure it. I eyeballed it and this connection was too low. It was below this wooden bench seat. Anyways, we got that fixed. Still got to figure out the best way to attach it to this bench seat so we actually will have steering. Been fooling around with the rivet gun and the drill. Got this here. Probably gonna drill a hole in the middle here and run a bolt down through this, run a bolt through this, and then run 2 bolts here, 2 bolts here. Once again, I don't have enough of the right length bolt. We've got 3 bolts here. They're not tightened down, they're just sitting in there to hold everything together. We're gonna take this off and put this on, attach the steering. That just slides, that's from the jet ski, that just slides in that groove. And bolt that down to this. And then we'll go to the store, I guess, tomorrow or whenever, because I'm not going back to the store tonight. But we'll get more bolts and get this thing finished. Okay, we got everything bolted down. These 2 are the worst. Just getting a wrench in there. I found that using needle nose pliers, and I shaved down this 10mm wrench. I just ground it down, and I think we're pretty snug and tight. Those are locking nuts, so they shouldn't back out. Everything's in, throttle's hooked up, start kill switch is hooked up. Okay, got us a life jacket, stuff down there, brand new oil measuring container, and a brand new kill switch, or key I should say. Because that one kind of looks not good. This one, does it have the whistle? No, it does not. So we got a whistle here. Hopefully it works. All right, it's time for the moment of truth. I have not had this on the water yet, but we're gonna go give it its first test run. Make sure the motor runs good, make sure it drives good. I know it leaks, I know it's got some leaky rivets, but we're gonna find out how bad that is. And hopefully everything goes smooth. I've got a lot of money into it so far, and all I'm going off of is last year's experience building that boat. But let's see how it goes. spoon I've got on the bottom. I can't go full speed without porpoising too bad. Well, the rivet leaks are definitely an issue. A lot of them are underneath the fiberglass, so I may just get some glue vit and let it soak down in there because I don't really have a way to rebuck them. Other than that, a couple bilge pumps will fix that too, kind of. Other than that, it runs pretty good. Got it up to 45, and I had to squat in the front, like right by the front bench seat to keep it from porpoising. I still got that ride plate off the jet ski. I'm probably going to put that ride plate on and see if that fixes the porpoising. But for now, not a bad first test run.